Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and I am joined by my gal pals, my posse again, Lisa Flamino Rush and BZ Rieger. Thank you, ladies, as always. And tonight we're going to talk about, well, BZ, you brought it up, and I think it's an awesome thing because, well, we've got lots to talk about it, but you're going to help us, help me specifically, really.
Me too.
Well, you already know how to.
I need help too. You're not leaving me out.
No, I'm not leaving you out. But I guess I feel like you already have this.
What was that?
Oh, sorry. I had to. I was closing my front
That's
window.
her hot air balloon. She was pulling it back. Don't leave home without Toto.
I thought I'd give the neighborhood a break from watching me do my recording in the dark. I don't know. It's a thing.
Okay.
So, BZ, I want you to describe it because obviously I'm not doing a great job.
And if you catch the flying right there, the hummingbird.
I saw him.
On cue.
Yeah.
Yes, BZ has joined us from her front deck where the nightly feeding of the hummingbirds is about to commence.
And there's usually about
lots of activity back there.
I may need to duck. Yeah, what I was thinking, I said not meditating because Sheila and I have problems with that.
Yeah, I'll go into a catatonic state probably.
But we wanted to do a conversation on creating our new earth, each of the whole new earth, all of new earth, each part of it. So I thought it would be fun to do as a setup at the beginning, a gathering of our energies, of our creator energies, and bring them in, open up the energetic envelope. So we're doing all of that gathering and then play with the conversation from there. Then that way, since it's at the beginning, I can even strip it out and just add it as a audio file, but just that part. So if people are interested and they like the gathering part,
Nice.
gather or create your own gathering of energy, because that's the very best. Whatever you create is always the very best.
Well, I like the way you described it because I will tell you what I felt, what I sensed. I don't have the videos yet, but what I sensed is like in certain comic books and movies like that where you have a superhero and their energy is amping, or their like, I don't know, Storm of X-Men, her energy gathers first.
Yep.
And that's what I was envisioning.
Right.
When you were talking about that, is like just gathering. And I'm kind of feeling it just talking about it. It's like
Right.
you too?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's really cool. So
The gathering has begun.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's pretty cool, BZ. So
Okay.
you have specific information and whatever in mind, so take it away for us.
Yeah, so first I would just say sit and relax, and if you feel like closing your eyes, close your eyes, and if you don't knock that over, and if you don't, then don't. Hang on, we may have a pup moving them. Come here. Sorry. I didn't want the paw to bring the whole thing down.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, so just get comfy, and if you want to close your eyes, and take a deep breath from your toes all the way in, and release it. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, wherever you've been, wherever you're swirling, just stop everything. Think of hitting the freeze frame button on the frequency video that is your life, this moment, this day. And exhale. And breathe in deep and let everything else go. And you can release the freeze frame, and now your being, your breath, your essence, your attention, everything is just moving in a very slow stream. And as you breathe and you're filling up every part of your being with love, the molecules in the air that you're breathing are just so delicious. They're suffused with beautiful colors and suffused with just a subtle, subtle fragrance. And the feeling that's in every part of your body is home, is comfort and fun. It's just that verge of new beginnings. And as you continue to breathe deeply in all of you, your energy frequencies are gathering. They're gathering in your muscles. They're gathering in the electromagnetic systems of your body. They're gathering in your auric fields. They're gathering where either the chair or your feet or you connect with the floor or the ground or the building. And as you continue to breathe deeply, you're noticing that you are not just the small person in this chair doing this gathering. You're actually, you can feel yourself, sense yourself, know yourself is easily filling the whole room around you. And more colors are coming in, and more senses and vibrational frequencies, and any that aren't a match to this expansive energy, any that are not uplifting, any that are perhaps have some turbulence or chattering in them. They just simply slip by your stream that's gathering bigger and bigger and bigger. And you feel yourself, and you choose your point of feeling is now encompassing the whole dwelling that you're in. All of it. You're up on the very top part, the roof, whatever that may look like in the structure you're in. And your being, your energy, your frequency is coalescing with all the love that's streaming in from the galactic center sun and streaming in and out through you. And now if you were to just glance with part of your knowing, you can see that you are encompassed in the entire block around where your building is. And as you gather more and more and more, it's these amazing colors and these amazing streams of energy. They're just flowing in your center. You're connected to that core. You could see if you look to where the other connection is, it might be at the heart of the Milky Way, the heart of the galaxy, the heart of the central sun. And now just let yourself sit with that for a minute and let yourself, so that you're fully in the chair, you can realize that and feel all of that amazing, expansive, boundless, creative energy. Feel the colors and the richness, the jazzy, happy, really exciting, expansive frequencies of it. and know that you are this, although this is just a tiny, tiny description of all the truth of who you are. And as you gather this energy, as it infuses all of your cells, as it infuses all of you with this amazing knowing that, wow, I am. I am. And so you can create all that you choose. And as that creator, it's helpful to have focus and attention on what it is you are creating. Because you're always creating. And so let's begin. And apparently I called in every truck within but hey, you know, I guess.
Well, it was a gathering.
Yeah, I was gathering big engines.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so not just a gathering of energy for me personally, but a bit of an expansion as well, because I noticed that the movers have moved in again.
Yep.
In the chest, and also I won't say panic, but
That's good. That's probably helpful.
Well, but I mean, it's a noticing, and I wanted to share it, as I don't know if it has to do with, you know, that feeling of being small faced with all that largeness, or what. I'm not certain, you know what I mean? It's not.
So your brain is describing in this panic. What's your heart describing it as?
I think my brain's not letting loose so the heart can, because all I get is anxiety. So I know that's not it either, because I don't feel anxious.
Is it anticipation?
I guess it could be, but I mean, it took my breath. I'm still having a bit of issue at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just interesting noticing.
Well, have you ever seen anything so beautiful it takes your breath away?
Yes. So I guess I okay. So I wanted to share that, as
yeah, that's great.
I'm certain that I won't be the only one that has that sort of a, you know, experience.
Yeah, because we're breathtakingly beautiful. That's the energy. That's love. That's what we are. And that's the furthest from what we've been trained and brought up to be.
Well, that's absolutely true. And I'm very clear that it wasn't panic or anxiety, because I just don't feel that. That's how I know that's not what that was. And it's certainly not fear, as I don't feel fear either. So that must be it. It is just really more of a physical sensation than anything, you know, emotional or, you know, anything like that. So
yeah, and that was just a little way to start to help you bring in the gathering of the energy. There's some other fun ways that I do it a lot. We can do that maybe another time. But you know, when we were joking before we went on camera, and that the handy memo delivery guy is not going to come to your door in his nice little, you know, button-down uniform going, "Hi, I'm the handy memo delivery service, and the new Earth is here, and why don't you come on out and play?" You know, actually, we've been getting those memos that it is here and we're creating, but we create all of it. And we create it by following our inspiration, by, well, we don't even have to follow it. We can just go, whoa, that was inspiration, just like this hummingbird is winging by, and there's another one. And, you know, because we're bringing that, all of our higher selves and soul are bringing that to us. And are we acting on it? Are we playing with it? Are we tuning into it? And when we gather our energy like that, there are a multitude of others who are gathering their energy as well. And when our higher selves and soul to each of us is sharing those ideas, or asking us to do things that have to do with our mission and that have to do with our soul purpose and all of that in. When we're doing that gathering, we can begin to feel it. We can touch it. You know, I mean, a lot of times I would describe them like, you know, like they're the kiss of a cool breath on a hot summer day. You know, the change is very subtle, but it's very palpable, and it shifts how you're feeling right in that moment. You know, if you're hot, you know, that cool breeze, it's just like, ah. And we can do that. And what we can do too is that we can pick up, we can, just like an eagle rides the thermals in the air, we as beings, we can go and we can play above where we live or where we're standing or where we work or wherever, right? There's no limits. And ride those thermal energies, ride those currents of the gathering that we've created, and see where they're commingling with the other currents of the other gatherings that the other beings have created. Because even if someone is not, well, we're all creator beings, so even if someone is not aware of that, when their heart is open and their predominant frequency vibration is service to others and expansive, and that's really what their focus is on. They may not language it anywhere at all. They may not, you know about executive orders. They may not know about this or that. It doesn't really matter. If that's the energy and the space and the way that their field holds it and expands it, they're doing it too. You know, it's not like there's only a certain number of people in the club and they all have the right handshake. It's, you know, doesn't work that way.
Yeah. No, well, I love the way you've put it in the past. I too have been an awesome creator all my life. Mm-hmm. All my life.
Yep.
Just didn't know it and was busy about creating a whole bunch of crap that I really didn't like.
Didn't care for.
Yeah, not caring for. But you know, so the consciousness is the well, I don't feel like I was service to self prior to my waking up. So I don't know that. That just came in for me just now. Not knowing that you're a conscious creator. I mean, a creator being.
Mm-hmm.
And having a service to others and an open heart. I don't know. There's something in there for me on that. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's kind of like getting stuck right there, but.
Well, it's a pretty good, to use a linear term, it's a pretty good bet that, you know, unless you were always trying to, you know, step on the next person to get to something you wanted and so on and so forth, you have been service to others. And that does not mean to the exclusion of, you know, leaving yourself out in the leaf pile to kind of molder. Because service, when you give to yourself, that is service to others, to self as other.
Yes. I mean, I get that. I guess I guess that's a different conversation. Never mind. Let's go on to gathering of our energy. And I didn't mean to sidetrack that. I will make a note of that whole little thing where I was going with that. And we'll talk about that another time because that's off the topic. But,
so, when we're talking about creating the new earth, what does that feel like to both of you?
That feels really exciting to me.
And how do you do it?
Well, actually, I just pretend that I'm there now.
Do you pretend that you're there now?
Yeah.
Or are you there?
No, that was not a good. I am there now. Yeah, but I kind of couch it as I'm pretending.
So you have been pretending that you're there now.
I think so.
And now you're gonna gather up the gumption to be there now?
To really do it, maybe, huh? Yeah, that's when I do it.
Well, that's how it works. Because
you're right.
Here's a bulletin. The new earth is within your field. It's not out there. The only way it gets out there is what? You put it out there.
Well, that's why I said pretending, because it's not out there. I can't look out there and go, oh yeah, this is the new earth. So
no, you're pretending. That's why it's not out there.
Yeah, you're right. I get that now.
Jeez, I don't know what the matter is. It's going out there. Well,
okay, well, I'm going to get this right. That's for sure.
Well, I think that's why the beginning. This is why this is the beginning of this conversation, because it's hard to have conversations where, and I love the idea of having actually, maybe slightly bigger conversations where people. Of course, I would love to all have it in a room where it's all physically located, but that's not going to happen where I am. So, but.
Never say never.
Well, right this moment is not good. But this is a good place for the beginning of it, because again, we think that somehow it's really a common thought process. Well, I don't see it happening out there.
Yes.
And the newspaper hasn't been delivered and said, oh, breaking, extra, oh, the new earth is here. It's so exciting. Come look on the street. It's just,
yeah.
But we create that. And part of the way that we create that is by being 100% committed to our highest frequency.
I'm gonna take issue with what Lisa said.
Okay.
You've not been pretending. That's the first time I've ever heard that come out of your mouth. You've not been pretending. I don't.
Well, imagining, visioning. I'm not sure why.
That's different.
But maybe I am, because obviously I'm not where I want to be just yet. So there's something going on. Is there not?
Well, imagining and envisioning are not pretending.
Okay.
They are the stuff of powerful, kick-ass creator beings.
Thank you. This is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, and I like that, because that is, first of all, it's accurate. Second of all, pretending feels like it's not real, like it's fantasy. So, and that's not true either, because I am real, and my creator beingness is not fantasy. So, yeah, I'm not going to say pretend anymore.
Well, and part of the reason I think and another reason I think I may have taken issue with that is because through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained. And a lot of folks will, in languaging things to their children, will mix up the words imagination and pretend. So I'm not, for me, I don't know that I'm just saying that I've never felt the energetic from you that you were pretending. It is more of an imagination, visualization, that sort of thing. And quite frankly, in our my very first conversation with BZ, when she started asking questions about, what would you create? I said, I jumped right to the fantastical. So
Right.
I say, let's jump, let's do all. I mean, why not? Look, I've created some pretty crappy crap without even really meaning to, because of my focus and attention.
Yeah, but it was amazing. It had a lot of nuance. It had a lot of detail.
A lot of texture. Oh, yes.
A lot of creativity. Right?
You betcha. You betcha. That's why I'm saying that.
And it was complex. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that without even really realizing what I was doing. So.
Right. But it's a good thing to mark, because there are others who, because I can hear you, you're really loud. There are others who are saying, well, yeah, just look around. However old you are at this moment, from a linear perspective, look around what's creating. That, and again, this is just, I'm going to reiterate for a stake in the ground moment here. It's not any kind of a blaming or any. It's just what we do. We just, we can't be living in a place that celebrates any of that. We can't be living in a place that acknowledges that. We can't be other than living in a place that actually says we have our head in the clouds and all this other kind of stuff. Because if we realized it, then we wouldn't be here out, you could look outside right this moment. But now is the time to realize it. Now is the time to get your head in the clouds, or whatever other, sayings you have for visualizing and imagination and your creativity and all of that kind of thing. However you do it, and people do it all different ways. And some people have spent so much of their life having that thought within them, or if it ever peeked out, under the covers, someone squashing it down because they had to be realistic in this, that, and the other thing, that they're really learning for the very first time, how to do this. And that's how it works. So the new Earth is a vibrational frequency neighborhood. It's a really good example of that.
Yeah.
And the Earth herself has raised her vibrational frequency neighborhood. And if some people are still not quite getting it, just look around. Because, it's tube of toothpaste moment all over the place that just, every which way. It looks like there's something in the, if you haven't been awake and you haven't been paying attention and you haven't known a lot of the things, or even just a whiff of a lot of the things that are going on, you'd look around the whole planet and go, there must be something in the water, because people are embezzling and they're thising and they're thatting and they're getting caught, and and it's everywhere. It's every country, every industry, it's like, whoa,
everything.
What happened? Well, it's not all of a sudden, it's just coming to light, because the frequencies are such that deception, that secrecy, that energy frequency of all of that, which is a low, dense vibrational frequency, is not supported anymore. And so it has to be expressed and expelled, or the being has to leave the planet. Or, and the same thing, the entities, we can, a structure is similar to, you can hold it similar to a being. So a structure like a corporate structure, a structure like, I don't know, the DOJ, a structure like, pharmaceutical, healthcare, all those kinds of things, all of those things are shifting. It's kind of like liar, liar has gone rampant all over the place.
Yeah.
No matter what any being wants to do is just, it's
I've seen it. It's really cute.
Popping right out of their mouths. So we create the new reality with inside of us. The new earth is that energy frequency. And then when we have conversations with others, or when our higher selves are having conversations in that stream, as I was saying, the ego's riding the thermals, so you're riding the thermals of those energy frequencies. You're commingling and creating with others. And that's how we do it. And if someone was thinking, well, okay, I kind of get that, I kind of feel that, but as Lisa said, she for some reason went to pretending. I'm pretending that I'm doing that. Because I asked, how are you doing that, right? No, I'm not going to be judged. Just saying, but I'm pretending. So because you said, the next thing you said, well, because out there isn't like that. Well, yeah, because out there has to come in reflection to what you put out.
Yes. Well, that is what I'm pretending, by the way, is that I am in control and aware of all of my thoughts and my focus and my attention. And what I'm doing is monitoring that the energy that I'm putting out there is the energy I wish to experience. Mm-hmm. So I'm walking through my day with, the word I'm looking for is, consciousness, I guess. Yeah. I'm noticing what my thoughts are, and I'm noticing what my frequency is. And, I might not always be able to do something about it in the moment of the noticing, right? But knowing it has helped me tremendously. So even though my world has not changed, this thing that I'm doing, this visualizing, or however we want to hold it, that that everything that I am holding is in my entertaining and carrying on in my mind is what's coming for me. It's what's out there, has really helped to keep, well, not just a focus on where it is that I want to go, but where it is that I am. Because there's I'm trying to suss out what doesn't belong here and what does. Mm-hmm. So the noticing of what it is going on inside of me all the time is how I'm trying to move in the world. And that's brand new to me, because it used to be where I did look around and decide how to feel or how to think about a thing based on what I was looking at. So for me, it's really trying to rewrite how I look at the world, and bearing in mind that everything that's going on inside of me that I'm entertaining and pulling in, gathering, if you will, is my experience. Because, I can look around and say, oh, I didn't create any of this very easily. So I find that that's helping me to stay right where I need to be in this moment.
You had said, well, okay, I'm going to ask you another question before I ask that one. So when you feel into my world,
yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So are you're in that world? And is that world a direct connection to you? Does that feel like it's a match?
Yes.
Okay. So then you said my world hasn't changed. So can you describe to me how today is May 21st, 2018, and we'll go back, I think it was the middle of September for the first CCRTC. So you're exactly the same as you were that night you came at the round table.
No, okay. No, that's not.
And is your world, hang on. I'm playing with you, and this is where
I
you
see what you're doing.
so I'm sorry. I didn't go here. You went here. So,
Okay.
so your world and how you flowed in it, how you created in it, is exactly the same then now. Okay. So your world actually,
Well, not my world. I meant the world. Like, we still have money. We still have presidents.
Yeah, but you have got to start right where you are, because that's
Okay.
how you change anything.
That's what I said. Okay. You're right.
Yeah, no, you snuck. You see, programming note. That was a yeah, but that came in there. Okay. So the reason that I call it, I mean, you know, it's fun to play, but the reason I call attention to that is because that is smarmy.
Yeah.
That's a smarmy. And it's a great justification to say, this, you know, I can't do this, I'm not doing it right, or this doesn't work because the world out there hasn't changed. And okay. But then when you break it down, you say, well, okay, great. Okay, so let's play with that. And then you go, well, no, not really. You know, so this is what I'm talking about. We need to have ownership
Yes.
about what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Yeah.
And the way that we characterize something
Mm-hmm.
is a good way to start to hold that a little differently.
Yes.
So let me ask it this way. So now have I gotten that you're in the feeling that in September, because it was almost about 6 months ago. So in September,
Yes.
who you were, how you held the world, what you were creating in your world,
Mm-hmm.
to now, would it now be safe to say that it's changed? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Just check it. Okay. So do you think that can you even remember back to the change and the nuances of change between back then and now?
Not all of it, but a great deal of it. Yeah.
Okay. And so, but you could can you sum it up with maybe putting a linear word or phrase on back there? Just the first thing that pops into your heart.
Okay, what's the question again?
Well, could you sum it up, but what the world was back then for you? Your world.
Okay, my world. I was very frustrated and unhappy, and I spent a lot of time in victim role.
Perfect. Stop.
Feeling
perfect. Stop. Perfect. Okay, so that's where you were. That was your energy, frequency, vibration.
Yes, ma'am.
Give me the odds of creating the new earth and fully residing in it with that description you just gave me of the neighborhood that you were in.
Yeah. Couldn't get there. Couldn't find the neighborhood.
So even if you knew that Sheila or other people who are right around you were there, and they say, "Wow, this new earth! Oh my God, look at the hummingbirds! I mean, they're turquoise and they're pink and they're rainbow striped, and well, they kind of are now already, anyways. But would you be able to see that? Would you be a match? Would your frequency vibration be a match? Let you hang out in that neighborhood?
No.
Okay, so that's terrific news. Because one, you've shifted. You've done it. You've created it. You've brought it forth. Two, you recognize the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And three, you still have a little bit of some habits of the languaging and the way that you characterize something using specific old words that just kind of pull you back and messy things up a little bit.
Yes.
But all of that's great because it's light years from where you were before.
Yes.
And
I am thrilled with where I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Sheila, how you create the new earth?
I am only focusing on me and strengthening my alignment with me. That's it. That's all I am concentrating on, because that is a job for me. That's all I can concentrate on. So I'm not even thinking about any of that right now. I have.
But you are, because you just said the same thing.
Well, I mean, I know what I'd like to see, and I do keep that. I hold that out here, and I still have my vision. Okay. But I feel like I'm very clear on that alignment, that lock, so to speak, whatever it is that, for whatever the reason I perceive that I still don't have. I'm just concentrating on that right now.
And do you think so? So let me play for a moment. So you said that concentrating on that lock, and I know exactly what you're talking about, but when you have that lock, you're perceiving that lock will then enable you to create the new world. Is that what you're thinking?
No, not at all. For me, that feels like the first step to anything, period, at this moment of now for me. And I think I have really, I mean, I get it. I understand completely that every single thing in my field is created by me. And that's why I'm only concentrating on getting myself in alignment and working out everything within me. I don't know, first in tandem, because it's sort of a multi-dimensional type situation, I feel like. So for me, that feels like the most important thing, because I feel as though it has to do with my focus and attention as well. Mm-hmm. That alignment. And since I am quite well aware that I am a creator being, then that focus and that attention, I feel that it's the laser focus and attention. If it's not in alignment, then it's just willy-nilly doing whatever.
Mm-hmm. Can you describe, by painting a word picture, what that alignment feels like? Just
no.
Pop up.
Okay. I'm saying no, because I'm not certain I've ever actually experienced it. So I'm not sure how to.
Well, you must have experienced it, because you can't navigate towards something if you don't have a concept of what it feels like and is. You may have been just a glimpse of it. Or did you read it in a book and you think you're just going to go there?
You mean the alignment?
Yeah.
With the higher self? No, I didn't read that anywhere, really, that I know of.
Oh, okay. So I'm just digging through. So that's really good. So it came from you. It was a prompting within you to have that.
Yes.
Okay.
What
do you imagine it would feel like? Would it feel good? Would it feel bad? Would it feel rigid? Would it feel expansive?
I feel like it would feel expansive.
Okay. Hence the reward for focusing on it?
Mm-hmm. Partly, yes. The reward, I feel, will be just that I will have that focus and attention and create consciously, like Lisa was talking about, rather than unconsciously from a position of programming and conditioning, which is pretty much where I still reside a lot of the time.
Is the focus and attention, is that the way you describe it, does it have love in it? Is it a match to swimming in the river of love?
I feel like it is, or it should be if it's not.
Okay, well, no, just for a moment there, I had, and I don't know whether I was overhearing something that when Smarmy was trying to come in, but it felt like there was a tiny part of that focus that was, how do I say that? Usurped isn't the right word, but trying to then, kind of masquerade as an up-leveled Smarmy item. So so what I felt was I'm singularly focused on this alignment, because then I know when I get that I'll be consciously creating, right? So I'm, as opposed to, it just didn't feel, even the attainment of it didn't feel like it was joyous and swimming, the backstroke in the river of love, and wow, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this, and I can race really fast, or I can spin around. You know what I mean?
More than likely,
it was feeling like work.
Or my frustration, probably too. I don't know. It could be.
Well, instead of the smartest person in the room, I'm going to be the most focused one in the room. That just had a little bit of that. You see where I'm, because what I'm trying to do is pull in things that Smarmy said before.
No.
And they're kind of feeling like they're grooving on the same.
I gotcha.
Similar, not 100%, but
yeah.
I can't go create right this moment because I'm focusing on being focused as
though you're not creating in this
I'll
moment.
come out and play later. I'll create it. Well, I got to get focused on focusing my creative focus.
We're trying to get this right, BZ. It's a lot of hard work.
Okay, well, all right. That's beautiful. And you know what? There is no right way to do it because we're creative beings.
Okay.
Right?
That's good news.
And right or wrong is hierarchical. It's greater than, less than.
Correct.
It's missing something, not missing something. I'm not like you. You don't understand. I mean, there's so many different ways to play with that. Yeah. So you're a creator being and you're creating something, and I'm cleaning things up so I can be a little bit more focused, but I'm going to still keep creating while I'm doing that. Because that reflection of that I create, oh, cool. Well, that's really nice. I like that. I'm going to shave a little, think of that creation or this just came to me. The task of focusing, creating is like you're molding clay. So you take this big mush of clay and you pinch some arms out, legs, and whatever it is, and you realize, well, that's really focused, but I shaved half the head off because, well, I like that because now I can see inside, and so that might be one way to play with it, or the getting it wrong, not doing it right, not being good enough at it, all those kinds of things, or even if you kind of masquerade that language frequency, and it's all frequency, as something a little fluffy or a little bit more expansive, is not a quantum multidimensional realm because there is no wrong.
Okay.
Okay, that feels freeing.
How does that feel?
Wonderful. I loved it.
It's good news.
Say it again.
Say it. You're funny. It's good news because, I walk around a lot thinking, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
So.
Well,
I
Okay.
mean, now don't get me wrong. I am continuing to play. Okay. Because
Yeah.
I did go out yesterday and buy myself a suitcase
Cool.
because, because I'm planning on
See,
going.
I think cool because I play it. So other people are going, oh, suitcase. Why is that fun? It's the same frequency as going to a library where you have a world of adventures and you have only to go and look in the shelf and pick this one or this one and this one, because it's a very common refrain that an author, a writer, writes the story, but the reader brings the story alive.
Yeah.
So we're doing the same kinds of things. So since the New Earth, I'm trying to think of a very linear, which is hard, a linear analogy, a linear metaphor. Okay. You don't need to know much about radios and radio wave frequencies and stuff, but now a lot of those stations are digital, but they used to be the analog stations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would have their call letters, KEXY and WWFL or whatever, okay? Just pretend. And they had a frequency bandwidth that was was in their call letters, right? So that they knew that on this, line of waves and this, this kind of electrical stuff, let's be linear and not too detailed here. So there's some kind of juice going, and they had a part, like a segment. They as this linear juice is going, and they took this segment was the KWW something, and then this segment was this, and you couldn't hear this one with this one because they were in their own frequency segment. Were you with me so far?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And they could play simultaneously. And if I had two different radios sitting right next to each other, I could tune this dial here and get that one, and I could tune this dial and I could get that one.
Yeah.
So, depending on how I'm listening, right? So we create the new Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You could use that as it's not a very good one, but it's a metaphor to help you. So the new Earth is being created from within us. So we have unlimited broadband capability from within us to create 5D and higher frequency vibrational bandwidth that every imaginable tapestry of radio programs, video programs, all sorts of everything can be carried on those waves. Is that, so am I getting that so far? Okay. And currently, and we use a linear place, the out there, right this moment that we might catch a glimpse of, or if we're more in our analog tuning vibration, we can see it. It's not a match. That's one of the reasons that people, structures, beings are reacting, and it's wholesale. If you notice, it's like there doesn't seem to be anybody who's left out of it, right? Okay, are reacting jittery and different and cascading and chaos and falling down and uncertainty and unprecedented and right, all those kinds of things, because the frequency bandwidth and vibration that they predominantly hold can't go into this new one that I talked about. It get the stuff. Let's see, if you think of it as this, the modulation of the wave has to get sheared off so it can be pure to then expand into this other thing. I'm not sure if I'm painting a picture. I'm trying to, but okay. So it's accurate to say that all of that generation of and genesis of the higher frequency vibrational bandwidth. So all those radio waves, for like this, just go with the metaphor because we're on radios, come from us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And we're swimming in them as well because we're on the planet, and she is in those frequencies, holding those frequencies. And you'll notice with different volcanoes and other things that are going on, she's balancing and retuning the vibration of her structure, of her body, her vessel. Some of it, you know, it could be looked at, perceived at as discretion. It's not. It's reconfiguring all of that. Done in the most gentle way possible. Anyways, so all of that comes from us. So we are a big, to use a radio metaphor, we're a big radio, megawatt radio station that can play all of these different things. And it comes from us. And as we get more focused on it, as we get more committed to playing in this kind of radio station, we can actually, isn't an electrical term, we can then in series have series of electrical connections and conduits looping with all the other stations out there. So there's 3 stations, right, on this, you know, visual on this video.
Yeah.
And there's millions of others. So think of all the light workers, way showers, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as we get that signal stronger and stronger and clearer and maintaining in that expansive frequency neighborhood of the higher predominantly, so more and more all the time, right? Then those signals lock.
Mm-hmm.
So hold that thought for a minute. You've been driving in a car and you're listening to a station and there's some conversations going on, and then it goes, right? Because the wave is coming in and out. So you have it locked in the station. Frequencies coming in. Same kind of thing. So once we lock in the station, then using that other metaphor, the conversation is clear. We're locking in those stations in our own station, in our connection with the planet station, in our connection with the galactic station, that corridor. That's what's going galactic means, because we're up leveling to that. And then we're also doing it so that we're having the in series, in electrical terms, we're in series loop and linking and conduit connecting with that being and that being and that being and that being. And so what's happening is that's coming online, and more beings are committed to that, and that's how they're gathering their frequency energies to be in that specific output. Then the station stays on. The station broadcasts, and it can be heard further and further and further. So that's the same analogy for it being out there. So now that you can look and go, oh. Now, have you ever been recently in a place where you're feeling great and you're noticing that other people around you are kind of edgy or kibitzing, but it's not affecting how you're feeling at all? You might say they're having a downer day, or they're seem chaotic or stressful or whatever, and as far as you're concerned, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, you're got a light step, and you're kind of rocking and rolling. Is that something that you've felt?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So that's a very good example of you've tuned, using the radio analogy, you've tuned your station, and your station isn't blinking in and out. It's not cutting out, right? It's there. And there may be other stations maybe wanting to kind of override your signal, but it's not working.
Right.
So that's just a good metaphor for what's happening now. If you remember when you talked about how you opened up an energetic envelope with your friend, so your two radio stations were tuning and broadcasting, and hello, other people could pick up and hear the radio station, I'm using the radio analogy, in the restaurant.
Yeah.
So that was out there,
Mm-hmm.
which you put out there, which they could then see from their radio station. Wow, I don't know how the lingo works in radio, but I want to buy that stream of music because I like it. Those are good tunes, Me and my audience would really appreciate hearing those tunes. So we are doing it all the time. I think, and I didn't do a very good job of explaining something that's very complex, but I'm trying to have kind of tangible things that you can kind of get it sounds like thing.
Well, I think you did. I think you did all right, BZ.
Really
I thought that was awesome, actually.
So this is happening all the time, and if we can focus, there's a good place for the focus where we can. Some of those examples I just gave and I pulled some from each of your when you've been speaking about it. It's already happening, and you can see it. But to go back to what we were talking about with you, Sheila, it's important not to be so looking at the dial. Well, maybe I need a different dial so I can focus it better, or if I had the wooden one as opposed to the metal one, or maybe the ribs or my finger, right? Instead of playing the music. Because if your radio station isn't sending out any music, it doesn't matter how focused the dial is. Well, first of all, you can't tell if the dial is focused because if there's no music coming out, there's nothing to gauge and play with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'll come back around to the more quantum, we are the new earth. It comes from inside of us. Because we're, like everything else, holographic in nature. And so as we tune our vibration, as we tune our resonance, as we expand our frequency carrier waves to the higher and higher and higher and higher that we can go, since we are, you could say, we're a small piece of the hologram that is this planet and all, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean it's a piece of it. It means that everything that is within us is out there. So if we change what's in us, hello, the piece, which is the whole that's in every other part, changes. So we're helping each other do it. That's why the phrase, we're all in this together. It's not just a euphemism. We're not kidding. It's really the case.
No, I agree.
We're all doing it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about a hologram. It's the same. You can cut it in half and it's still every bit of all of it. So, right.
And it works both ways. You don't just take, the big piece of cloth, and if I pull off one piece and it's right here, I can change this over here. That's why remote healing works. That's why all of these things work, because they're, you don't have to start with a supposed big piece over here. You change that and it flows the other way around. Why do you think that we're where we are now with all of those little pieces of holograms, right? Following the lead ingrained in the structure of the big hologram, which is that structure of the false construct. That structure of the Illuminati, perceived Illuminati control. Because they take this to their advantage. And while we're on that, so just to tie it in, because this all deals with the new earth. So when we're focused on our energy, when we're focused on creating the new earth, when we're focused on keeping that commitment and flowing in the river of love, we have the biggest generators, raters, plural. They're planet size. No, they're solar system size. No, they're galactic size. No, they're universes size. No, they're, and so on and so forth. And that's what's making an awful lot of everybody's nutso, because they can feel that this egg is, cracking, or Humpty Dumpty's falling off the wall, or whatever things, and the new burgeoning, she is crowning. It's all coming right this moment. And we can speed it along even if we don't know how to do it, because we know how to do it. The thinking may not know how to do it. But that's what the playing comes in.
Well, I'll just keep showing up for playing, okay? I'll just do that and not
Nice.
concentrate so much on the other thing, I guess, anymore. I don't know. I guess I just was feeling like I'm supposed to get aligned. I don't know.
Well, that's cool, as long as you're creating while you're aligning.
Well, I can't. I'm breathing, ain't I? So I guess I'm still creating. I mean, we're all in this room tonight. I bought a suitcase. I'm creating something.
I'd say that's very cool. See, to me, that's a big deal.
Yes, to me, it was a big deal too. I bought myself a large suitcase because I realized that I can't go on a trip if I don't have a very large suitcase. When we went to Knoxville, I had a carry-on bag practically. It's about what I had.
Yep.
So did you get nudged to buy the suitcase?
I've been being nudged to buy the suitcase, and I just haven't done it. Yesterday was the last day of the sale. And so I finally said, I'm going to go get my suitcase. So yes, I was nudged. I've been, yeah. I know I've been watching them behind you.
This is how we create the new earth. When we get nudged to do things, when we have inspiration, and the human linear, productive, do it right, put a peg in the right, square kind of a thing, doesn't apply. We're playing in the unknown right now, and we won't know how it all fits in. That's actually not correct. We have the perception, it's perceived that we don't know how it fits in. Yet our soul knows how it fits in. And our three souls, I've been playing with it time, but they know how it fits in. Different parts, different of our higher selves, and there's a whole, I don't know how many, but a whole bunch of them, lots of bunches, many bunches of them. No, maybe not all of them, no, because that's not what their focus is, right? But so kind of all the things that we've been playing with and talking about, all of those things are your tools in strengthening your muscles and ways to actually now, because that's where we're at, the energy support, this is the right time to create the new earth. And it comes from inside of us first. So if you've ever painted something, got inspired to paint something, you had the thought, had a nudge, whatever it was, and you started to do something. So you
Get out of my head, BZ. Get out of my head.
Sorry. But it's the same thing. I think that, no, I know that what people's predilection to do is, well, first of all, they want it right now. They're waiting for somebody else to get off their ass to do it, so they hand it to them. And, oh, by the way, send a memo guy over to let me know when it's ready, so that I can then whine and moan and complain that it's not the way I wanted it to be. Okay, well, if that's turning you on, cool. But that's not how I'm interested in playing. And the other thing is that we're creating something, the new earth. It's not called the fixed old earth. It's not called the shored up old earth. It's not called any of those kinds of things, okay? You notice this is a new part of me. So it's new creation. You may see some things that are similar. You may want to create some things that are similar, but they will be fifth dimension and higher structures, entities, creations. So it may look, feel, seem kind of like that other one over there, but it is wholly different. Because first of all, it doesn't have the same polarity to it. It doesn't have that duality and that separation to it, so it's completely different, right? There may be familiarity to it. So again, a lot of times when people are thinking about, well, creating the new earth, okay, well, we have to get we need to do, a better job with the justice system or have different government. Okay, well, right there, you're pulling from the same box that has gotten us eons of things we don't really like. So play in those energies just for yourself. What is prompting you to start there? And I might ask, which you is prompting you to start there? And I think if you can identify those, then that's where the focus and the alignment is, so that you're aligned with the part of you that actually is the creator, not the lower mind ego self. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that'll make it a whole lot easier.
Okay.
Because your heart knows how to do this. And your heart just is absolutely thrilled that this is a time and this is a place. And the heart is waiting for you to choose. That the heart, you will allow the heart and your higher selves to command what's going on. And everything else of you to be a supporting role to that. So if it says get the suitcase, okay, you go right out and you get the suitcase. And for those who are saying, well, what if I don't have the money to buy the suitcase? Well, but if you'll find as you do this more and more and more, and for me, I just use the word okay. Okay, got it. Okay. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, go do X, Y, and Z. I may have raised an eyebrow, but I said okay. And if I had given you the laundry list of things that I might have come up with, I never would be, well, I wouldn't be sitting right here. So you get better and better and better because you trust more and more and you're just in the flow. And if you spend all of your energy and your focus on, well, but what if I don't have this or that, or yeah, but's right? You can't bring yourself all the things that will unfold. And I guarantee you can ask a whole bunch of bunches and bunches and bunches and bunches of people, whether they phrase it as creator beings or anything else, that the road appears right before them when they step. People have different ways to describe it. It happens all the time. It actually happens all the time when you think of the negative thing that you don't want. I don't want this to happen. I don't want to get cancer. My mother had cancer, and I know it's a hereditary thing, and I don't, you go on and go on. And wow, look at that. That's just one example. But if you could then look at the true scientific that they kill doctors over all the time, they're offing them right and left, that cancer is actually given to us and all these kinds of things. So it has nothing to do with heredity. It has nothing to do with it, because you could look at Bruce Lipton's and many other doctors' proof that, the biology of belief. So we do it all the time. We just do it in a way that's very limiting, very negative, don't like the consequences, but we can say that someone else did it to us, or, it's we're perceived, whatever. And now it's time to put on, I think, Sheila, you said a long time ago, big girl panties, big guy boxers. We can do this. This is why we came here. This is what we're doing for all of everything.
Well, what I like to remember is we've always been doing it.
Right.
We've always been doing it. We've been doing it without realizing it. And quite frankly, there's that extra little naughty little caveat in that, as we didn't know what we were doing, it was being directed in specific directions to accomplish things that none of us really wanted. However, because of for me, realization that I was creating from an unconscious place, not being aware of who I am and what I was doing. For me, I feel like that was a part of coming to know all of this about myself, just coming to comprehend that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's, for me, was step one of reclaiming my power.
Absolutely. And maybe this is coming in now. Maybe one way to, and obviously there's lots more to play here. We haven't even scratched, like the outer coating of maybe sort of the surface. But maybe a place to wrap it up here is to step into a story. The story is that in this galaxy, and we're kids and we're reading this story, and there is this huge band of beings, and they chose to go to a planet to create all sorts of stuff. And there was an evil villain that came and decided they were going to take all of these incredible creative powers that these beings had, and they had a special machine, and the machine was able to hijack their frequencies and their tuning devices and all of that, and it could put up a false image of what they were thinking that they were seeing with their own eyes to create. And when it hit the button, the evil sorcerer hit the button, they used each of these amazing, they were cowboys and heroes and all this kind of stuff, and they would use all of their power to create these things. And so they thought they were creating what was in front of them. It was like a mirror, a screen. And the evil villain would take all of that juice and all the creation, and out would pop all the things that they wanted. So they were fat and they were happy and they had all these things, and they could throw whatever they didn't want away, and they could always get new beings because just recycle those and get another one. And because they were parapacks, they just kept using them as their generators in their parapacks. And then one day, a couple of young ones came along and said, "Well, that's a silly game. I don't want to play that game anymore. That's boring. Because look at that wall. I can see that wall changing." And so all these kids of these other ones who were so well behaved and doing everything right kept coming along and saying, and there weren't very many of them, but then they, would grow up, and even though they had all these problems, they would, and misadventures and battery packing all the ill villains things, they started to come together, even though they didn't really know each other. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. And all of a sudden, they changed everything because they unplugged all of the other people out of the socket, and they weren't the machines anymore. They weren't generating the batteries. They weren't creating what the evildoer wanted. And when it was all done, they all took a bow, they all came back, and they were so excited because in remembering going through all of that where they didn't know anything and coming back, they had a bigger playing field to play on. They had more powers and more ability, and you know, what used to be called their battery pack was so much bigger. It was like the size of whole universe. And then they went off and played something else. That's us. Our battery packs have gotten so big by expanding and looking at all these things, and now we're coming to the part of us that's in the shirt, in this chair, on this planet, in physicality, is remembering all of that. And each of us are remembering, some in tiny little, oh, I had this really wild dream, or they see something else, or are part of a story, goes, it was the coolest story. It was kind of familiar, because we're remembering it in different ways. Some of us are remembering in lots of big ways, and it just comes, you know, streaming in and go, whoa, okay, wow, all right. And that's what's happening. And every time that you get frustrated, you're powering the evil sorcerer behind the screen, and you're juicing his creations, or his and her creations, not your own. So that's, again, not to make you wrong, not to get frustrated. It's just a realization that you have a choosing in every moment.
Yeah.
So do you want to power, you know, if you want to go childlike the good guys, or you want to power the bad guys? Do you want to power the expansion or not? Do you want to power the room that's playing with the unicorns and the cool dragons, and, you know, the disappearing, you know, pop out of the woodwork because you're playing, you know, a game with your friends? Or do you want to, you know, power the wordy toady, you know, kind of thing? And on the one hand, it really is as simple as that.
Yeah, you're right.
And a whole lot more fun. So again, to quote Abraham, you can't get it done, and you can never get it wrong. It's all perfect and perfectly done. I could pull a few more euphemisms out there, but they all work. So we're doing amazing. We really are. So when you're doing amazing, do you go, oh, I'm doing amazing? Oh, yeah. Or are you, you know, I'm doing amazing? No. Again, it's a choice. Everything is a choice. It all comes from us.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I do feel that's a truth. Wow.
And go look up the energy of hummingbirds. And we've been having this conversation about creating, and, you know, I mean, I could probably put my hand out and the hummingbird would sit in my hand, kind of a thing, you know. So they're here because they like the energy. I mean, they like it around here, but I don't normally actually.
Yeah, you're sitting right out there.
Yeah, and they're having, you know, one just flew right over the, you know, right above the camera range here.
I've been watching them behind.
Yeah, we've seen a few.
So I mean, that'll tell you that this is what we do. This is how we roll.
Nice.
But we got to choose it. We got to choose it.
Well, I've chosen.
Yeah.
So go get the suitcase, or it's whatever the first time you hear it.
Yes, next time I will get it the first moment that I'm nudged.
Get in the car, or whatever it is.
Yes, get in the car. Well, you know, I bought the suitcase. Now I need the car. Because I'm not quite sure.
Sheila with her suitcase.
Because I'm not sure the 92 will get me very far.
Where are you going, lady? I don't know.
Well, that's a quantum thumb, right? I mean, That's a quantum multidimensional thumb. And there are so many ways to get there. And most
Yeah.
of them, if we'll just let them happen.
Well, I will. I have every intention of when it strikes, I'm outie. I'm ready. I just keep throwing my hand up saying, I'm in. I call shotgun, whatever.
That's why I drive. I'll drive.
Okay, you can drive, but I get shotgun.
So have fun with it. I mean, you know, and you can create, if you like to cook, you know, you sometimes you have mistakes, and the mistakes are interesting, and the mistakes are god awful. But hey, you know, it was fun. We've forgotten how to have fun.
That's so true.
We've really forgotten how to play.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, everything is such a big deal and such a big.
And so serious and so heavy.
Yeah, and that's what we get.
Yeah.
You know, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. Are we there yet? Help! Okay, well, what have you done for you lately?
I don't hang around those kind of folks anymore. I
We're going to
can't.
need all of our T-shirts up on, you know, racks. Of course, we have to make them first. But.
Well, this has been lovely.
Yes.
Thank you, BZ,
Yes,
most specifically for the gathering
Yeah.
of energies. I love that.
Yeah, that was awesome, by the way. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So gather your energy every day.
Yes.
I know everybody has at least 30 seconds. You can spare 30 seconds. Guarantee you can spare 30 seconds. And when you gather that energy, it'll power you for the, you know, for the rest of the day. It could power you in creative things, it could power you in work. And you'll realize that this is kind of cool. And some people, I just heard someone say, well, I forget to do that. Okay. Well, you're apparently you're not that valuable. You're not that important. You don't love yourself and what you want to create, that you say you want, very much, because you wouldn't forget. You know, I think in linear terms, people take coffee breaks, they take cigarette breaks, they take all these kind of break things. Excuse me, so if you don't have the creator being cojones to say, I gotta go do a gathering moment, I'll be back, and then, you know, say, well, it's a new kind of cigarette, I'll be back.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or it's a new kind of coffee or a tea, or I gotta go to the bathroom, you know.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so not as a defensive, you know, but I will say that, well, no, yeah, okay, in my defense, as you may have heard me say that, I don't remember sometimes to do it. But I will say too that, well, for me, all of this, paying attention to me, falling in love with me is all very new.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I do forget sometimes. But that's, again, for me, that's kind of what I meant by I'm trying to focus on me right now. And I know, you know, yeah, I want to say this about that because
Good.
I think.
Then I'm going to answer that person myself when you're done with saying this about that.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Well, because there's a perceived notion out there sometimes that a person that, you know, like I just said, I'm all about me right now. And oh, how egocentric that is. Well, I don't care what anybody says anymore. I'm not listening to that crap because I think that's a trap. I really do feel I have decided within my own being that is a game that is played on purpose.
Yes.
Make you feel small so you don't concentrate on yourself because who are you and why do you think you are so special that you need to look after yourself? Guess what? That's exactly what I need to do, what I should have been doing all of my life. And that's part of my issues and problems. Is that
We wouldn't be here now if we all had.
So, you know, anybody tells you that, just say whatever and
Well,
get
and
out
the
of
beauty
their
of
field
it is, it's
immediately.
one of the most selfless things that you can do. Because when you do that, you swim in the river of love. You truly be love. And when you do that, since you're, wait for it, part of the hologram, you change everything. So what could be a better gift to put out there in the predominant energy frequency of all that everyone is riding on, to be in the river of love and kick that up a few more notches? And as Emma would say, another notch, bam! Right? You know?
Yes.
Because that feeds back to everybody else. We're all in this together. And as we're rising and expanding, we're expanding everybody else. Even the ones who are waiting for the memo man to show up on the porch and say, are we there yet?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the way we do it.
Yeah.
It's how it goes.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, both of you. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
For me. Again, all for me.
All right, well, Hummingbird Central here is signing out.
Well, awesome.
Yes, thank you for giving us this treat this evening by being able to be present. I love hummingbirds. Somewhere I have some video that was taken of hummingbirds on our porch at one time. So, but thank you so much, both of you, and I will have links to both of your both of your blogs in the show more section of this video, along with how to contact me or how to join the Friends of Conscious Conversation Central Facebook page, should you so desire. And let's hear from you in the comments. What did you think about the gathering of energies? What, if you do play with it, come back and talk about what your experience was, or, you know, anything like that. Use these comments and email addresses as a way to communicate. We'd love to hear from you. So, till next time.
Much love.